Hey guys, we'll wait a minute for a few people to get in here. Welcome back. Let's just let a couple people get into the chat. First, takes a couple minutes for people to get notified we're on here. And see when they get in. All right. Take it everyone can hear us loud and clear. Let's wait for some people to get in here. Sorry, we've got people messaging us. So we've got to silence that. Cool. Well, I started a different live feed, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, it would not let anyone comment. So I had to start another one. I don't know why YouTube keep doing this. It's like a glitch every week. Something either works or doesn't. So I don't know. But anyways, we'll kind of wait for some people to get in here. Hopefully we get a good following today. And yeah, see who joins. And I didn't really post up online if anyone was going to join. Obviously, we do this every Monday. So pretty much takes, a lot of the people a couple minutes to kind of float in here. If you want to leave a comment, if you're in the group, go ahead and say hello. And let's get some questions going on some Honda parts. So if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section. Love to help out and answer anything you can. And what's up, dude? How's it going? You should be getting your fuel modified fuel line either today. It probably came, or maybe tomorrow, I think. So keep checking those tracking numbers. And thanks for ordering. I put some free stuff in the box for you too. So hopefully we can get some reviews left online for these fuel lines, and hopefully you guys enjoy the product. Wrapping the actual pipes was very, very fun. Each pipe took about, I would say, like a good 15 minutes to wrap with the gold stuff. And I did it myself, so I know they're done right. So yeah, that's an actual throwback sticker that I did for this 4th of July kind of. And they came in a little bit after, but that's an actual logo that we came up with back in 2009 that I've kept. And I think it's kind of fun. So every year or two, we kind of like to throw out some different stuff. And hopefully we'll have some revised new stickers later on this year. We're kind of revamping some stuff, and I want to do some cool new merch and some fun things. So hopefully we got some cool things coming down the line. Hey, Steven, how you doing? Thanks for joining the chat. Hopefully you can get some other people in here tonight and get some good conversation going. And yeah, if you guys have questions, like I said, just shoot them in the comments. And cool. Welcome in, Michael. Thanks for joining. If you have questions, I know I've been answering pretty much all day off and on. So if you've got any more, you can always throw it in here in the comments, and I'll get to it and answer it. What's up, Mark? Yo, yo, yo. You made it on time. You actually beat Andy tonight. He's not in here yet, as far as I know. So cool. Hopefully we get a good turnout tonight. Obviously back again for Mondays with Mike. And we've got some cool videos. I didn't post any videos really last week, any new ones. I've got a couple I'm doing this week and a couple the next week, and some new stuff to show you guys. So hopefully some cool things, some more Honda Passport stuff. I know not everyone's into that stuff, but we're trying to keep doing more and more for the the Honda off-roading stuff because the market's massive for it. So I would love to kind of get in a little bit more if we can. No Honda Funkos. No. These are just all horror themed ones. Well, these are music ones. And then the other side is horror themed and then 80s movies and other stuff. I like to have a fun home office since I'm also, when we're done working, I, spend a lot of nights in here too and the weekends. So, yeah, shoot the question in, Creamy Dumpster or whatever it is. Funny name. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool if Honda came out with some, or Funko came out with some Honda ones. I mean, I know they have the F1 series, the Max Verstappen and stuff. Never fails. Every week, right when this thing kicks off live, the amount of emails I get every week, it's insane. Anyone know what O2 sensors are used in the FL5? I honestly have no idea. I'm assuming it's a Bosch unit. I've never honestly checked, to be quite honest. Chevy transmission exploded at 2000. Ouch. Wow. Ouch, man. Yeah, I mean, I know the back order stuff with all these manufacturers is insane, but that's, dang. I mean, did they at least give you a rental car to drive? Well, the lemon law, I know it has to be several issues that get reported, usually 3, I believe. So, yeah, it'd be a tough one. I mean, it just depends on how crazy the dealership is. I think your first thing, regardless of what manufacturer it is reach out to corporate. Obviously, every dealer's privately owned. So that would be your best bet, I think. Cool. Yeah, just trying to help everyone out. I don't know. Sometimes obviously have a business to sell, kind of. So when I'm giving out information free, that a lot of other companies that don't know the information online, it helps them sell also. So I really appreciate it when people actually can order from us. I had some guy that got really upset at us a few weeks back for posting my website and basically, in his words, whoring out my business. But yeah, we're just trying to help, and obviously, I have a living to make, so this is our full-time thing. It's not just a college job that I'm making for extra money, and I have another full-time job. Like, this is what I do for a life. I have bills to pay, and so appreciate anyone that kind of supports us because you're supporting my life. So thank you. But yeah, some other news today. We did hire some new staff at Axion. I've been trying to do as much on my own for the past 15 years as I possibly can. And I think it's finally came to a point where I wouldn't say I was overworked, but it's definitely been getting the support stuff as far as emails and having to deal with people wondering about orders or that kind of stuff. I needed someone else in the office to start taking on other stuff. So hired a couple people and hopefully everything will be good, but we're kind of changing up some of the email structure. So just so you guys know. So, okay, let's get through some of the questions because I don't want them to back up too much. Thanks, Mike. I've been doing this for a while. Like I said, we were one of the first companies to swap an L15 B7 into a Honda Fit. It was an idea I came up with in 2016 when the brand new Civic was even released. So obviously right off the top of the bat, I have a ton of info on these. And, when I bought my 11th gen, we basically, with E-Man at NA Performance, I wanted to have him get a lot of knowledge. So we worked together and took the engine out with 800 miles on it, did a lot of measurements. So a lot of the information out there, honestly, is from us. if companies are commenting, they probably got the information from us because we were the first to do it on this chassis, period. Um, I paid extra money to have a Honda Sport 6-speed touring, well before a lot of people out there in the market had one. We were the first ever to do a clutch swap on one and confirm that the RV6 would actually work on these. We were the first to do basically a gearbox change, SI final drive, first company to do an SI LSD. I did that 3 years ago. So appreciate the people that just keep supporting us for the chassis. It definitely helps. There's a couple other companies out there that I know are definitely highly regarded in the industry. I get it, but definitely putting in a lot of work. And once the 11th gen's done, we will hopefully take the crown on everyone. So cool. Well, I have yet to hear anything from RV6. As usually I hear nothing till it's like already out to all the people and back ordered. So maybe I'll give them an email tomorrow and see what's going on with the turbo stuff. I would love to start ordering some of the housings from them. Obviously, it's such a cool setup. So we'll see. Yeah, I've like I said, I mean, I kind of repeat myself every week on certain stuff because a lot of different people come into the groups. But I've owned like over 25 different Hondas, and every single one I've owned, I pretty much modified, even before I owned Axion or started it. And so the information is there from several different chassis that I've dealt with over the years. So it just helps selling parts and obviously me making a mistake. So yeah, I saw the thing from Four Piston. I wouldn't believe anything they put out, to be quite honest, considering the owner is pretty much a scumbag. So but you can look into all the stuff that he's done behind the scenes. I do like their product, and they do some cool stuff, but I'm not going to believe in 920. It's doable, but if you know racing history, you'll know a lot of the drama with Four Pistons and certain things. So I'll just leave it there. I mean, the channel's in here for people to talk about, so that's why I like getting information out there. They use like I think a GT30 turbo. Who knows? I mean, they're not going to tell you if there's nitrous on there or whatever they've done. I mean, I don't see how they've made 900 just off direct injection. But if they did, cool, congrats. It'd be more impressive if they got a quarter-mile time out of it. And I mean, honestly, until then, like, dyno numbers only go so far, Yeah, it's just the side mount's gonna firm up some stuff, and on the transmission it would help. I know the one he's working on is basically one where we already have a mount, but it does tend to fail when you start getting up over 400 horsepower and you're running stickier tires. So it's basically that large mount that's on the passenger side of the engine. Yeah, well, I was the first company to do a ported R40 head about 6 years before Four Piston came out with one. So I did it with Mission Critical. If anyone knows Saul, who worked at NCP, Mission Critical Performance, he was the owner. Probably some of the best heads in the industry. The unfortunate thing is Saul passed away on the dyno, and I only managed to get one of the ported heads done. That ported head went to someone in Chicago. I sold it to him. No idea if it made its hands into anyone else. So that was the last I ever saw that head, and it was an R40 head. So we'll see. I don't know. Pretty much Mission Critical was sold to Prianto, and all the head designs went to Prianto. So, yep. Gosh. Well, pretty much in 2009, some of you guys have heard this story already, but I'll repeat it real quick. I used to have a project managing job that I did for years. And at the time, '08, '09 were very tough times. And I actually, because I was pretty high up in the company, ended up finding out that I was going to be let go. And literally on a whim in my office, I think in about 10 minutes, I bought my domain name and bought my website and figured out the name of the company. And obviously, I ended up losing my job at the time. So I couldn't do, I mean, you need a lot of money to really to start businesses the right way. And I was laid off for just over a year, I think. And didn't do much with it at the start. Was doing some very small things. And then when we bought our ninth gen Civic that I currently still have, that's when my sales really went up because we had started getting noticed in I had a 2010 Acura TSX, which has the same motor as the ninth gen Civic. And I had already got all my information from the TSX and already knew a ton of stuff for doing on these engines when it first came out. So pretty much people just started trusting in us and buying from us. And, there's a lot to learn in the beginning. I probably said it on here several times. We were the first PRL dealer in the whole world. There was an actual point that Pat, the owner of PRL, reached out to me and said that I was actually outselling PRL in performance parts, which was pretty insane. That a little company like me was selling more parts than the manufacturer. But yeah, it pretty much grew from there. And then I ended up getting, several other jobs in the old field I was in and managed both for a long time to kind of help grow Axion. And about, I would say almost 10 years ago, pretty much went almost full time with Axion. And I still would do some other side stuff just for fun. But it was really about 6 years ago that I just fully had to commit to Axion full time and basically have no life anymore. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I've had a Subaru WRX a long time ago. That was 25 years ago. I had a Evo 9 MR, made 1100 horsepower. Sold that. I've had RSX. I've had a 92 Civic Hatch that had a carbureted B17 in it. I've had Honda Insight, 2 Ridgeline trucks, a Honda Pilot, a Honda Passport, Acura RDX, Honda 10th gen Honda Accord, 9th gen Honda Civic, 2015 Honda Fit. So yeah, that's just some of them. But yeah, I mean, pretty much all of them have been decently modified. So yeah, I don't know if you guys know anything about our 9th gen Civic. It was the first J swap in a newer body Civic in the world. It was just something I came up with, something different. Looked at the engine bay and thought, man, V6 would fit in here. So yeah. Hopefully we can keep growing. It's a tough industry, I'll tell you that. And it definitely, the one thing that I don't miss about the corporate world, I had a pretty easy corporate job because most of the companies I worked for were all European. So they had a lot of hands in the pot, but they would leave you alone to work, which was kind of nice. But I do not miss the whole kiss ass corporate bullshit. And it still goes on in this industry too. I mean, there's certain companies out there that get, preferential treatment by different companies over other companies. So, they get things first to put on sale before other people and stuff like that. So, the 9th gen is still in Arizona. It's sitting in storage, but there are tons of videos of it on here. If you want to go through the videos, both of my cars are actually in Arizona. The 11th gen is actually at a place that we use, a good friend that does all our fab work for us. So the car is actually there, and I should be going over the build with him this week when they lay out everything of how I want the build done, because I've already done a sketch and everything of how the car is going to be. So um, it's going to blow everyone's minds when they see this thing. So hopefully it'll come out really cool. But yeah, well, there's quite a few people in here. If anyone else has other questions, just go ahead and shoot them at me, or you can talk amongst yourselves in the chat. So yeah, I've been at this a long time. Obviously, you guys probably can't tell, but I'm almost 50. So yeah. Yeah, the cool thing is I have a really special night gen. Is we ended up getting the 2012 four-door, which only was made for 1 year. Um, so uh, yeah, pretty unique car, and I just love the look of it. I still to this day might sell it. I don't know. Having two full-time race cars you're building is just it's very expensive. Like I've talked about in other ones. It just depends what you kind of want for your passport. I really like the trail sport models. The shocks are a little bit nicer. You already get some all-terrains on it. They have some other nice stuff in the interior, different grills. It just looks a little bit more hardcore. But it just depends what you want the car for, you know. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's just sad in the 9th gen groups, like people don't even know who Axion is anymore. And it's like crazy because I just remember like our name was literally everywhere in the 9th gen Civic community for the longest time. And unfortunately, we had competition who ended up. I don't want to keep going on about this because it's so old, the news of it, but I like telling people what happened because it was pretty shitty. We had a company that was a startup company to compete with us. I think they started in 2015, something like that. I'm not going to mention their names. And they were telling customers that we were going bankrupt. So customers would not buy from us and would buy from them. And that was the rumor that I got from a couple of loyal customers of mine. So yeah, there was some bad stuff said online for a while on a lot of stuff that was pretty bad. So yeah, but now everything's better. I mean, we still do a fair amount of 9th gen stuff, but it's not like we used to. I wouldn't really say they seem cheap. Everything that I get through here honestly looks good. I mean, I wouldn't say the quality has gone down. I'm sure they get certain things outsourced by some other companies. They can't make everything in-house. But yeah, I mean, their stuff's still really nice. I mean, compared to other stuff. I mean, I look at some other companies' products, and I mean, I wouldn't run them personally. But yeah, I don't know what parts you're looking at that you've seen that look cheap. I don't know about mass produced. They pretty much have like local people out of Pennsylvania that work full time around the clock to do welding. I know, probably some of their cast stuff is maybe done outside, but all their CNC stuff is done in house. Obviously, they can't make everything. It's just kind of, when you try to take on a catalog of their size, it's pretty impressive. We'll see what they have coming out. I mean, I really wish Acuity would keep making more and more parts because their stuff's amazing. But RV6 is stepping up their game big time. Some of the stuff that they have coming out is really nice. Thoughts on Emmy performance? Well, I had an issue with them a few months ago. I don't know if some of you, I caught, because I follow them online. I've never had a problem with them ever before. They're just another big company that got bought out by a private equity firm. I don't know if you guys know a lot of this, but a lot of the performance shops that you see advertisements for, they have $1 million companies that buy them out and then just pump a bunch of money to do mass sales. So MA Performance basically took video of our 11th gen Civic and made a advertisement for MA Performance using our car to sell 11th gen parts. And I asked them to take it down for the longest time, and they didn't. Nobody wrote me back. Finally, I got someone that used to work at PRL that works at MA Performance that apologized and made them take it down. But yeah, yep. So I mean, it was cool. The car got out there, but everyone thinks it's MA Performance's car, and it's not. I'm not the only person they've done that to. I know a lot of people that they've just not asked if they can post the person's car up online. And usually I'll ask every single customer if we're going to make a post on Instagram or that, like, hey, can I share your pictures online and tag you? Or, because I love doing that. So, yep, shame on MA Performance for that one. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen a ton of 27.1 stuff. I reached out to them about a year ago to offer Axion selling their parts. And I had a interview with them, which I thought was kind of odd. And then was told, no, that we're just going to go with Unity Performance and Two-Step Performance sell our products. So I'm not going to support 27.1 since they don't support us. So I think a couple other parts are nice. Other things, I don't understand the engineering behind it. And I think some of it looks cheap, to be honest. They were basically, before they got into the Civic community, they were a company doing Miata stuff in Canada. So that's all that I really know about them. Now they're out of Vegas, but yeah, not a huge 27.1 fan. Sorry. I mean, I kind of consider us being one of we're up there as far as, decent sized companies that are doing business in the, civic world. And I kind of think we're at least respected by quite a few companies out there. So, but yeah, we actually have, I'm not really releasing too much information on it. So I am Axion is going to start another side business. For any of you guys that are curious, I will have information within the next month about this. I've already got it all planned out. I just have to apply for the business idea, whatnot. But I will give you guys the information here a little bit first online. I'm not going to tell you the name of the business or anything, but we will be starting another company that is going to be selling stuff from every other car besides Honda. So I'm going to be starting that sometime in the next month or two. And you guys will see me post up about it. And so if you guys have other cars or family members have other things and looking forward to modifying, it gives people another idea to find another avenue. So it'll be suspension, brakes, exhaust, simple stuff. But at least it'll be another place for you guys to buy parts from someone you trust. So that's that. It's a ton of work to do this, and I can't even believe I would be taking it on. But I didn't want to add any of the stuff to the Axion performance parts because I want it solely to be Honda and Acura only. There's a lot of other companies that will start adding other divisions into their Honda portfolio. I didn't want to do that. So it's just going to stay Honda. That's it. But the other one will have tons of stuff. So if you guys are looking for parts, you can hit me up now. Like I've said, I have several people. Mark on here just bought an intake for his Jetta, so I hooked him up. And we can do suspension and other stuff for other cars. So I usually just do PayPal invoices for that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's one cool thing that's going to be happening this year. Hopefully it will take off. I've already got the name for it. And the idea, the business plan, everything is set. So, yeah, I would love to get into the Lambo and Audi stuff. I was halfway there with our Audi TTRS, which I just love that car. And so I have experience with other cars too. It's not just Honda. I've owned several other cars besides Honda too. But Honda's my main jam. So, and probably what I know the most about. But cool, Mark. Well, just hit me up with whatever you need. I can look it up. I've got a whole catalog of stuff. The German car stuff can get kind of iffy because some of the stuff that's made are by just individual companies, kind of like what a PRL is. So I would technically have to apply, but I can at least try, see what I can get you. I can check my DMs. I usually, once I'm off of here, I check through everything. I mean, I've got now 15 emails waiting for me. Mondays are pretty nuts. I don't even know why I decided to do this thing on Mondays too, but it's always fun getting on here and chatting with everyone and kind of seeing faces, and you guys get to put a face to the company, which is always cool. That's why I kind of started it, because I got tired of reading people giving really bad information on Facebook to everyone. So yep. Yeah, I'm always pretty mature. I would say at least about off and on 10 to 12 hours a day I'm in here. Weekends about 6 if I don't have plans. Today was 93, so it wasn't bad at all. I don't know. North Carolina, still, you've let me down. It's not that hot here. I still have yet to have a day where I felt it was miserable. But like I tell everyone, if you can go through a full summer in Arizona and go running and walking outside at like 6:30 in the evening, you can pretty much handle anywhere. But yeah, I'm trying to think of new stuff coming out. Obviously, some RV6 stuff. We're waiting on that to come out. The Acuity things came out for the shifters for the 11th gen and Integra. Been shipping those out all week long. Yeah, but here's the thing. There's a difference between Arizona and wet. I mean, I think today was like 65% humidity here, and 90, yesterday was 96, 97. I still don't think it was that bad. When you have literally, and I'll say this exactly, when you basically cannot, well, you can leave the house, but when you have it so hot that you can't even sit out back in your backyard till 11 o'clock at night for 3 months straight, it's not fun. And I lived up in the hills above Phoenix where it's like 5 to 6 degrees cooler. Yeah, you can at least enjoy parts of the East Coast with the heat and humidity. As far as like the mornings and the evenings, like in Arizona, you don't have that option till like the end of September. It's pretty nuts. So are you saying like the K24 over the K20 Z3? That's what I'm assuming you're talking. I mean, it mainly just comes down to the amount of torque. Best Civic 2.0 mods, K-tuner, PRL intake, RV6 downpipe, Function Works front pipe, and an exhaust. And that is it as far as mods go for the engine. You can't really do much with those cars. I do see there's some people playing around with a supercharger kit. I saw someone playing with. I mean, honestly, until there's also the software in the K-tuner that can add either boost, you can't really do much more. So I mean, people just always upgrade to a K24 because the blocks are pretty cheap and they make a ton of torque. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. All right, we're getting along here. What time is it? 8:35. We still got another probably 20 minutes. If you guys got questions, we'll keep going. I usually try to be on here for about 45 minutes every week. Obviously, I got some time coming up, headed out of the country for a while. So I haven't traveled. For some of you know me personally through here, you know I like to travel off and on. So which transmission you prefer, the DCT and the ILX? I do not like CVTs at all. Never done the ILX one. I love the 10th gen Accord 10 speed. I had that in our RDX and in our Accord that we owned. Really nice transmission. But yeah, I would never. I've owned one CVT and it was horrible. I just not a fan of them, to be honest. I just don't like the way they sound and rev and anything about them. I understand they're, they're good for, people that just want a daily driver and cruise, but yep. I'm trying to think of some other stuff that's coming out. What did I see the other day? I'm not sure. I'll let you guys know if I think of it. Oh, trying to think. I'm stumped. You guys got to have some questions for me. I'm running out of topics. These things are hard to do sometimes, especially when not much is going on parts-wise. I'm trying to think if I've got anything that's coming out besides RV6 stuff. I did hear that RV6 was coming out with a 1.5 downpipe. I don't know if that's true, especially since they've been kind of getting rid of downpipes because of the EPA. I mean, we're always willing to help people out with their builds. I don't take a bunch of sponsors on, I guess. I mean, I can only do so much with people with sponsoring. I mean, usually it's just we'll give you a bundle discount, based off how many people follow you, whether you're going to be tagging us online or bringing us, friends that buy from us. That's the main thing. All right. 8th, 9th gen, 10th gen, 11th gen, and handling. Oh, man. I mean, they're all so similar. I mean, I would probably say the 11th gen only because of the wheelbase, and it's a little bit wider. I mean, you look at the times that the Civic Type R does, it's pretty impressive. Latest updates on the 11th gen. It's really just waiting to start getting measurements started going, and basically when they start fabricating this, so the whole front end is completely missing now. So they're starting and redoing the whole, like a whole tubular kind of front end idea, if that's the way we go. So they've got to do a bunch of extra support bars to hold like the turbo, and they'll like weld it to the bar and then measure everything off. And it's a huge process. Hopefully I'm going to get some pictures here in maybe 2-3 weeks of something. I'm dying to show you guys what I have going on. But they have been way too busy with other stuff. So hopefully something soon. I'm pretty much my mechanic for everything. I honestly don't like paying someone prices. The thing is though, as you get older, I'm so over working on cars. as bad as that sounds. This last, when I flew out to Arizona to get the K20 and the 11th gen, I actually only had like a couple, I think I had 3 full days to basically get that out of the car and get the other one in the car, all the suspension back on, everything powder coated. And I had to work on the 9th gen, getting the whole suspension redone and all the subframe and everything on that car too. Um, and I didn't have any of my tools really with me because I had moved and it was just in a storage area. So I was literally with a floor jack and a couple things, which was not fun. So that was probably the most annoying thing. I think at this point right now, with the 11th gen, we're pretty much going to be doing almost all the assembly and everything, and all the work to it. It really comes down to time. I personally just don't have the time to spend working on a car for 4 hours and nobody gets an email or message back for 4 hours. That's really what it is now, which is the hardest thing. It kind of sucks because it takes away my hobby of like wanting to modify cars. Um, so, quarter mile times for the 11th gen, hopefully mid nines. That's kind of the goal. I mean, just to get it in the 9-second territory would be fantastic. There's no reason it shouldn't run those, but we'll see. The best mod for an 11th Gen 2.0, probably suspension. I would say that's the biggest difference. As far as engine, I would say K-Tuner. I mean, you're only going to get like 10 horsepower from each mod that you do on that car. It's not a huge difference. I think on the 1.5, we had over at least $12,000 in upgrades, maybe more, because we upgraded the transmission just because we wanted to. I should have some turbofab stuff within 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully some starting pictures of what things are going to look like. So it's basically a forward-facing turbo. It's going to come out the center of the grille and take the place of the Honda logo. So the turbo will actually be sitting in the middle of the grille, and it'll be V-band right onto a large front mount intercooler right below it, and probably a downpipe hood dump, and it's going to have a drag radiator off to the side and some other stuff. We're doing a 2-gallon race cell in the bumper. So yeah, it should be pretty fun. Obviously, if you guys have seen my 9th gen, which is on YouTube, you will know some of the stuff that we're in for, and the turbo setup we did for our V6. Dropping cams, probably just the DC 2.2s. That's what I would go for on the 8th gen. FL5, G87. Well, I mean, how much does the M2 even go for right now? I don't even know. I mean, I love the M2. I'm just not a big BMW fan anymore. Obviously, I've owned one. I always say everyone's a BMW fan until you have to spend $30,000 on the engine to rebuild it. It's just really what you kind of want out of a car. I mean, I love front wheel drive. I love the way they handle. The Type R is just such a cool car. I would honestly probably go more for the Integra Type S. I just like the stance of it and the look of it. Interior is a little nicer. Best suspension mods is the Silver's coilovers, hands down. And then do a rear sway bar, preferably the RV6, and you're set. Yeah, I've talked about it several times on the chat. I used to have my family has had several rare BMWs through the years. An old Alpina B7 Turbo, I had several BMW 2002s, one with an M3 swap. I had it built 2.5 stroker E30 M3. So don't like the cost of rebuilding those. It's not fun at all. I'll just tell you, I mean, I rebuilt this thing back in like 95. A plastic chain guide in the engine, there's 3 of them actually on the E30, was almost like $2,600 in parts for 3 plastic pieces. Unbelievable. I think my rebuild on that car was easily 19,000 just on the engine. Yeah, BMW means bring money with you, because when they get past 60,000 miles, they don't last long. I mean, I would honestly, if you are wanting to compare, I mean, personally, it's just me. I would rather have an Audi RS3 any day over an M2. I mean, like I said, I had an TTRS, and that thing was so much fun. You can get a used RS3 right now for around 47. The most overrated Honda release thing you've seen, the TLX Type S. Those things honestly are kind of a flop. They're super heavy. They don't make a lot of power, at least not now. I mean, they have the chance to make a lot of power, but just nobody's really putting in any mod time for them. I just think that's like the biggest flop of Honda. They were so like talked about before it came out, and then people started getting them. And they're like, oh, it's actually kind of slow. Yeah, but it has I mean, the RS3 has basically half a Lambo motor in it, and it's like a baby R8. I mean, my little Audi TTRS was 0 to 60 in 2.8. And they just sound so good. And the DCG transmission it's the best transmission I've ever used. So much fun. Oh, the Prologue, yeah. I haven't even really seen one of those out and about. I mean, you can't really modify it. So, I mean, for what it does, I guess it's okay. Well, they can unlock the TLX. There's already people running K-tuners. It's just, I mean, pretty much at this point, people are just doing a couple bolt-ons and then the stage 2 tune, and that's it. There's no aftermarket turbo for them. There's not a lot of support for some reason. I kind of thought it would be a really cool car, but you got to remember that car weighs 4,200 pounds too. It's not light. Yeah, the Silver's coilovers, that's what we run. And the RB6 sway bar is the best, hands down. I have a video on it if you want to watch after this thing. I do a whole thing of all the sway bars laid out on a bench, and RB6 is hands down the best. And it was one of the lightest. Yeah, I would rather have an RDX instead of a TLX. Yeah, I mean, my RDX weighed 3,900 pounds, and it had around 400 wheel. Silvers are made in Australia. Super great coilovers. I swear by them. They're on every single project car I build. The most you'll get on power mods on a 2.0 are probably about 30 horsepower, and that's it maxed out. Yeah. Cool, guys. Thanks for all the questions. Really enjoying the chat tonight. I'm probably going to get off here pretty quick because I got tons of emails to get through. So luckily, the support email now, I'll have employees doing it. The only problem is, we now have employees that are handling some of the shipping stuff. So during the weekends, you might not get an email back till Monday like most companies. Yeah, thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate it. It's always fun chatting. Make sure to check out some of the videos. Like I said, YouTube decided not to pay us for some unknown reason. I don't know. They didn't monetize the channel, but I don't really care. I'm on here giving information for you guys for free. So, um, like I said, if you guys can keep supporting the company, tell your friends about us. We can maybe do some deals on parts. I always like to save people some money. And yeah, have a good night, everyone. Message me if you need anything or have a question about something. And we'll be back next Monday again. So think of some questions if you have them. And make sure to tune in. And before you guys go, make sure to do the thumbs up. That always helps us get the channel out more. So really appreciate you guys and for everything. So awesome. Yep. Always ask. Always here to help the community in any way I can. So, all right, everyone, have a good week. Stay safe.